Little boy whispered, "They took my sister." The bikers didn't wait a second. It was a quiet evening at a roadside diner. The sound of roaring bikes fading into the distance as a group of bikers stopped for coffee. They were known as the Iron Souls, tough, feared, but with their own code of honor. Suddenly, a little boy, barely 7, ran up to them, trembling, tears streaking his dusty face. He whispered, "Please. They took my sister." The entire diner fell silent. The boy's eyes were filled with terror, and something inside the bikers snapped. Without another word, their leader threw a few bills on the counter. His voice low but fierce, "Tell me where." What happened next would turn this quiet town upside down. What started as a cry for help became a night no one would ever forget. When outlaws turned into heroes. Jake Iron Meller, the leader of the Iron Souls, wasn't new to trouble. But when that small boy tugged on his vest, something about his voice hit him differently. The kid's name was Tommy. His hands were shaking as he explained that some men in a black van had taken his sister, Lily, from the park near the diner. He had run all the way there because he saw the bikes and thought maybe they could help. The bikers exchanged glances. They had seen enough bad things in life, but nothing broke them like a scared child. Jake knelt, his voice calm but heavy. "Do you remember anything about the van? Numbers, stickers?" Tommy nodded. There was a red skull on the back. And they went toward the old Sawmill Road. That was all they needed. Jake turned to his men, Big Mike, Razor, and Diesel. No hesitation. Helmets on. Engines roared to life. Locals at the diner watched in disbelief as the group thundered down the road. Dust swirling behind them, the Iron Souls had a reputation, fierce riders, rough talkers, but underneath, they lived by one rule: protect the innocent, no matter what. Meanwhile, Tommy sat in the diner, clutching a worn-out teddy bear, praying for his sister's safety. He didn't know that at that very moment, the bikers were riding straight into danger and toward a truth darker than anyone expected. The night grew colder as the bikers reached the old Sawmill Road. The place was nearly abandoned except for faint tire marks and the flicker of headlights. Deeper in the woods, Jake signaled for silence. They split up, engines off, moving stealthily through the trees. Razor spotted movement near an old warehouse. 2 men smoking beside a black van with a red skull painted on it. Jake clenched his jaw. "That's them." Before anyone could speak, Diesel's deep voice broke the tension. "Let's do this." In a flash, the bikers surrounded the warehouse. Razor cut the power line while Mike blocked the exit with his bike. Inside, muffled cries echoed. It was Lily. Jake stormed in, his boots echoing against the concrete. One of the kidnappers tried to grab a weapon, but Jake's fist met his face before he could blink. Chaos erupted, shouts, punches, the crash of metal. Within minutes, the men were disarmed, tied, and thrown outside like garbage. Lily, terrified but unharmed, ran into Jake's arms. "It's okay, sweetheart," he whispered. "Your brother's waiting for you." But as they stepped out, Jake noticed something, a tattoo on one of the men's necks. A serpent with a crown. He knew that mark. It belonged to a notorious gang that trafficked children across states. This wasn't just one kidnapping, it was part of something much bigger. Jake's eyes hardened. "We're not done yet." By dawn, the police had arrived, but not before the Iron Souls made sure the kidnappers would never harm anyone again. They handed the men over, but Jake didn't tell the cops everything. He knew this was just one branch of a much larger network, and he planned to shut it down himself. At the diner, Tommy saw the bikes returning. He ran out as Lily jumped off Jake's bike, tears streaming down her face. They hugged tightly, crying into each other's shoulders. The bikers stood silently, helmets off, faces softened by the sight. For a moment, the world felt right again. Tommy looked up at Jake. "Thank you, sir." Jake smiled faintly. "You don't need to thank me, kid. Just promise me one thing: take care of your sister. Family's everything." Word of what happened spread fast. The same town that once feared the Iron Souls now called them heroes. Reporters came, cameras flashed, but Jake refused all interviews. That night, as the sun set, the bikers gathered near the Sawmill Road again. Jake stared into the fire and said quietly, "For every child they take, we ride." Engines roared once more, a symbol of silent justice that no one could stop. If this story touched your heart, don't scroll without sharing it. Because sometimes heroes don't wear badges, they ride onto wheels.